So I'm a compulsive overeater. Everybody can be whatever they want, but that's what I am. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I'm also a bulimic that never threw up. There's a lot of ways you can be a bulimic, and I'm one of them. So I had exercise bulimia and food plans. I was told by a bariatric specialist, anybody that tries to manage their food and can't, and tries to get rid of it. That's the bulimia part, trying to get rid of it. But I couldn't out exercise or out anything. So anyway, I'm going to start my mantra again. I normally never explain my mantra, but this is a beginner. A beginner's meeting, and there are day counters here. First of all, to me, you're the most important people in the room, but everybody's important. Anyway, I'm going to redo my mantra and started from the beginning again. So I'm a compulsive overeater. I weigh and measure 2 meals a day from the gray sheet. I write it down according to my sponsor. I don't need anything in between, no matter what. And it's the most important thing in my life, without exception. And it's non-negotiable. And I know somebody, and she says, that's militant. That's harsh. I don't like that you say that. Well, first of all, she shouldn't be giving me her unsolicited opinion. That's the first thing. And this harsh? This is not a pretty disease. Okay, you want to talk about harsh? How disgusting the disease I have is? It's not pretty. It's not attractive. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It is. We just read in the Big Book last night at the Greenwich Zoom meeting. It was Big Book night, and we read about the demoralization, incomprehensible demoralization. This disease took me to such horrible places, horrible. And I get to be free here. And I also love that this is a video only meeting, even though I will go when asked to do service or when I need a third meeting. Here's my meeting list. A third meeting, sometimes a fourth meeting a day. I could do that. It's after coronavirus, there's a gazillion Zoom meetings. I used to be, I'm still a meeting maker, but I used to go to meetings. I live in New York, and I was very lucky that people got abstinent in Cambridge in the 1970s when Sally and George started the program. And then there were members that got abstinent, and they came to New York. And then there was one member who was already abstinent. Then he didn't get abstinent in Cambridge, and he got abstinent, and he ended up moving back to New York as well. And they passed it on and saved our lives, those of us that were lucky enough. I was at an Overeaters Anonymous meeting, one meeting out of 12 years of wasting my time, being told by the most lovely people in the universe, yeah, if I wanted to go see a movie or have them for dinner or a sleepover or go out for lunch, go roller skating, not to help me. It's okay, Bobby, that you ate another half a gallon. It's okay that you ate 12 of this and 10 of that. And there's nothing okay about what I did. Nothing okay. I almost died because they were too nice. I'm not here for nice. And I remember walking into the first Gray Sheet meeting. My sponsoring in OA was brilliant. She was one of the very few people that got up on a sponsor line. It wasn't like 1,000 pounds. And anyway, because OA in Cambridge was not the OA in New York. The OA in Cambridge was wonderful, and it was the Gray Sheet, and it saved so many people's lives. But where I live in New York, the OA was just a food plan that was originally the Gray Sheet without any of the facts. And I was able to lose my weight on it because we know the Gray Sheet. It wasn't fun. It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't the biggest and the best, the greasiest and the gooeyest. It wasn't delicious, plentiful meals that I've been eating for the last 30 years. However, guilt-free, and they weren't even guilt-free because I couldn't enjoy them to be guilt-free because they didn't have any fats on them, and I'm a woman, and I was 30. I started out at 20.
5 minutes gone, 10 minutes
That's good.
left.
Thanks, Gemma. Awesome timer. So anyway, I just I kept to the plan, and I could lose my 25 or 30 pounds. Um, that was before I knew the disease was progressive, and I didn't grow up like this. Not like I grew up like this, the way I am now. I have another shirt on under this, but like I grew, it's a shirt. It's not a bra. I wouldn't show a bra. But like just the point is, well, people that know me that see me in the summertime without like 10 layers and a neck scarf, because we have like a lot of snow outside. No, like I'm pretty thin, and that's compliments of the gray sheet. But I was, and I grew up this way, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. The disease has a lot of discrimination and prejudice, even when you're skinny. I got beat up all the time growing up in school, and um, and I couldn't protect myself. I was so skinny and so fragile and so this and so that. And anyway, when I went to college, I hadn't even weighed 100 pounds. And I come from, oh, and also you don't have to, this disease, it doesn't just hit people that come from like abuse. I have, well, they're in heaven now, but I had like the best parents in the whole wide world. They had faults like everybody else, but my mom especially did not have very many. She'd have a hard time writing a fourth step because in her, I don't have, my mom and my dad too, mostly, but he had a temper from being in World War II. So anyway, I was adopted at birth, and they had compulsive overeating, and here they had this skinny child. And when they went in that with the depression era, like all my friends, their parents were in their 20s, and my parents were like grandparents age, they were in their 40s. And the adoption agency, it was a Jewish adoption agency out of Manhattan, and I was adopted before I was conceived. I mean, after I was conceived, but before I was born. And they couldn't be more wonderful. I was cultured and educated and taught everything about giving to others. So in Gray Sheet, that's not new to give back. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. The point is, you don't have to come from abuse to earn a seat here. And so so I gained all this weight in college, and I went from 100. Well, I didn't weigh 100 pounds, but I hit 100, and then I hit 110, and then 120, which was like between 110 and 120 was like a good weight. And then I hit 130, and this disease is progressive. And so then it was 140. And then the pediatrician and my mom and dad and all the relatives were like, yay, you gained weight. This is wonderful. This is so wonderful, because it wasn't not good. People thought like they weren't feeding me enough. Anyway, and then I guess kept gaining weight. And so the kind of family I come from, like I hear all this abuse in Gray Sheet, like parents being so mean, and I feel so bad. But the kids made up for it. They were vicious and they were so mean growing up. I literally, like, my parents got called to the principal's office all the time to take me to the pediatrician, because some girls would beat me up. And then when I got into high school, and even in college, the boys were brutal. They were so mean. Like I hadn't developed breasts yet, and I was so skinny, and they would call me flatsy doll and anorexic. And so the grass is not always greener on the other side. Then when I started gaining and gaining, and so I went to OA, and so I lost all the weight because the Gray Sheet works, especially without any fats. And the fats are really important for you guys counting days. The fats are so important, the oils and the butter and margarine and salad dressings, because they are good for the nails. I have such strong nails, and I have really, like, I'm not going to say like I'm beautiful or I'm ugly, but I have really nice hair. I don't, I wish it wasn't frizzy, but other people think it's nice. But the point is the quality of my hair, the beautician says that everybody should have such healthy hair, healthy from the oils and the fats. And my skin is fine from the oils and the fats. And so that's why I'm able to stay on Gray Sheet, because the food is so delicious. And I go to a good,
It's gone
what's
5
the
minutes
other
left.
5? I go to a gazillion meetings and they always say, put the food down. Like in AA, it's don't drink and go to meetings. Well, for me, it's weigh and measure without exception. And I don't go anywhere. Like this is my scale. It's a digital scale. When I came in, we didn't have these were just coming out. We had like a little spring postage scale. Anybody that is well, anyway, most of you know what a little postage scale is. But then in the early 90s, so I had a million day once. That's what I want to tell you guys, counting days. If you are here and you are counting days and you never leave Gray Sheet, eventually you will get abstinent. You will eventually get abstinent. You will stop counting days. You will let somebody else do the research. I'll keep it in the eye. I was told, like, oh my God, stop eating. Stop it. You don't need any more negative attention. And when in 1992 and 1993, when I was kept picking up and picking up, there wasn't relapse. There weren't like a million people counting days. People got abstinent back then and they stayed abstinent. I was like it was so humiliating. Yet everybody where I went to meetings were so nice. Nobody judged me. They just said, wipe the crumbs off. We'll see you at a Gray Sheet meeting tomorrow. And you couldn't turn the click of a switch. You couldn't go on a cell phone and go on a meeting. We didn't have cell phones, right, Joel? We didn't have cell phones. It was 1990s. There were no cell phones. And Joel and I'm sorry, I apologize for calling out your name, but we were absent in the 90s without cell phones and without always a digital scale. And we didn't even have phones that didn't have cords. We didn't have landlines without cords. You had to like schlep the phone all around the place, and you made your 3 phone calls every day, right? Right. You weigh and measure, you make your calls, and then you get in the car and you drive an hour or 2 hours, or you take a train and a subway, and maybe if I was lucky, 2 hours later, I get to be with you guys. And I get my one hour of a shot in the arm, and then get back in the car or go back on the train and back on a subway, or tolls, gasoline, wear and tear on the car, no turning on a switch, no iPad like this. So anyway, and there were cups. We had cups, and the knife went across the spoon, and you wipe on this so that you don't get 5 tablespoons in 1 tablespoon. And wherever you go, we were taught back up, back up, back up. And we had cups and scales, and then they came along with this awesome invention. These cups, the collapsible cups. So you could just put them in an evening bag. You could go to a black tie affair and you could look dainty, right? But when in the beginning, there were no collapsible anything. So I don't go anywhere without, I just want to show, like now I'm older, I'm in my 60s, but where I don't go anywhere without glasses to read ingredients. What if you can't magnify it? What if your phone's not working to magnify when you're reading ingredients in the store? And I have all sorts of things in here. I have little utensils. I have a paring knife, a teeny little, oh, and I have a pen. Don't go anywhere without a pen, because what if the protein weighs 3.7? And what if I don't remember? I have traumatic brain impairment. A man decided when I was sitting at a red light that he was just going to pretend I didn't exist and take his SUV and go
1
right,
minute left.
thanks, Jenna, and go right through me. So I ended up upside down in my SUV. Thank God I was in an SUV. And when they had to use machinery to get me out, and the paramedics, it was called in as a DOA manslaughter, and I was in and out of the hospital for a year. And I still to this day, which is why I have my service dog somewhere down there. I have allergies and asthma, so I have a little dog that's hypoallergenic. So I just take when they took me to the hospital, the SUV was totaled. And the reason I'm talking about it is because the policeman had to go with the machinery to the back of the car to get my backup bags out of the car to follow the ambulance to come to the hospital. Because once I got unconscious, I said, you cannot take me. I will learn this from Marcia in Cambridge.
That's
May she rest in
time.
heaven. That's my time. Thank you, Gemma. So it's just a lot of meetings, a lot of delicious guilt-free food. I miss talking, this is my last sentence. I just want to say I miss talking to my friends that are in other countries, but my WhatsApp doesn't work. And a very wonderful person on the meeting knows that it gets expensive because the WhatsApp doesn't work. And I just want people to know I miss them dearly. And that's why I haven't called any of you out of America. This program works. You guys are counting. May you never count again. Please let somebody else do your research, finish up your 90, and then that's what I was told. So then it's my turn to help somebody else because people help me. So it's my privilege to help somebody else. And if you heard anything that helped you, just leave my name out of it. And if there's anything that you didn't like, please leave my name out of it. Anonymity is very important, and I don't want to outlive my abstinence. So thank you so much, and thank you to the service givers at this meeting. And I thank Dita wherever she is, because I know where she is. And I just thank her for booking me, and I think you guys rock.